Hey everybody, this is a kind of a part two to my first video where I installed this jump seat. This is a 2019 GMC AT4, but it'll pretty much work on any, if you want to look back at my videos, this is it for any of the current Chevys or GMC trucks, full-size trucks. And when I moved from a center console to a jump seat, and a lot of the electronics were not available in the jump seat, and I'll talk more about that in my last video, but one of the things that it didn't have was heated seats, so I had a buddy, Stan, make me a mounting plate and for the heated seats, and I put the harness from the center console into my jump seat, so I have all the electronic wiring and everything, and so he made that for me. And I'm doing an instructional video on installing it because he made me another one, and I was really happy with this first one, but it has just a little gap right here, and so he offered to make me another one, and I said, well, if you want to do that, then I'll make an instructional video on installing it, and I've had some requests for it, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that. Tools you'll need are, probably easier to actually install it with the actual seat when you're putting the seat in, but you'll need a T50 star driver and then an 18 millimeter hex, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll get this installed. I'll show you once I have the rest of the bolts taken out. Okay, so I have my seat propped up, and I just thought I was taking it off to show putting it back, installing it, and I thought it might be helpful to see some of the reverse engineering, just so to know beforehand. Where I mounted it with it, I put it just slightly, it's like a 1/4 inch above the bottom, and that's where it fits. So one couple things to note here: there's a little cutout from it. It's not, it's not flat, and that's because these are the factory rubber floor liners that came in with my truck with the AT4. I don't know if you have those or not, but this is designed to fit over those. So if you don't have floor liners like that, you might have a little bit of gap at the bottom of it, so that's something to keep in mind. Another thing just to bring up is Stan, who made this for me, gave me a link. He uploaded the file that you'd need to print one of these, and I'll put a link to that in the description. He's been having several people ask and has been helping them get a hold of one of these. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, but if you have a printer, I think he's made it so you can download that file to get one of these printed. So I'll show you how this is sitting up in there before I take it off, and I'll go through a little more once I get it off. Okay, so I wanted to show you, now that I've got that off, just how the wiring is. So I installed this later after I'd already installed the seat, and so for me, I just did it all without taking it out of the truck. But I had pre-wired everything to have all of the electronics that I wanted, except the heated seats, and I just left the wire for the heated seats just kind of sitting back behind here where it's at, so that I could come in and put this in later, and then but I didn't want to take the whole seat out because I had all the wiring all positioned where I wanted it. That is the wiring I did for the navigation, which was another thing I had to add in. which I discussed in the last video. But I'm going to get this unplugged and then show you the actual mount and what you need to do for that. Okay, so just wanted to show how I installed this. I've got two of these, one with the old one and this is the new one. But when I installed this, I took everything off. I, had the seat really just sitting like this. Like I said, it would be easier if it was out of the truck, but I installed it once it was already in the truck. But I made 4 marks on my holes, so there's four spots to mount. Okay, and I made four marks and drilled 4 holes. Okay, and then when you see, here's the old one. It still has the electronics in it. I have the electronic, where the plug comes into it. It actually is really close to hitting, and then when you put the cord into it, it'll hit right here. So I then came through and cut this out. It's not super pretty. I used a Leatherman saw and just hacked it out, and I think I came up to here first. That's what that line is, just to mark where I wanted to go, and I needed a little higher, so I had enough room for it not to be hitting, and made my marks and went for it. And then I'm just gonna pop this out of here and put it in the new one, and then I'll show you putting it in. Alright, so I got that screwed in. Just make sure that the buttons press easily. It has a little bit of give, and he's made the hole for that pretty tight, so it looks nice. But if there's a little bit of play, I had to kind of push up on it as I did the screws, because it was binding just a little bit down here. But once I tightened it up with a little pressure pushing upward, it fit in there really nice. So now I'm gonna install this back into here through my holes. The bolts, you can use anything. I just used, these are actually, sorry, focus on it. There we go. These are actually from RC Car Parts, but you can use any bolts, and the nut that goes on the back side of it, and just get whatever size you want. These are not very long. I'd say what, three quarters of, maybe not even 3/4 of an inch in length, and not super big. Yeah, so I'll get that installed in there and take a look at it. All right, so I got it in. I'm going to start the engine to double check everything works before I put everything back together. So I'm going to come back into the back. Check here. Yep. Okay. And I can put my seats down if I want to check that. But I did a couple measurements. Just wanted to go over about 3/8 of an inch is how much space I have for these. And just show you from the bottom. I was wasn't very good at centering things, I guess. This could have been moved a little further to the left, but it works. It goes through there, and it's all put together. And I can feel my seat starting to get warm, so that's working. So I'll get it all put back together. Alright, so I got everything put back together. I thought I'd turn off the lights or the flash, just to see, so you can see the heated seats light up and they both work. And just turning the flash back on. So, you know, if you look at it, I'm actually a little off center. When I had it lifted up, I was like, man, when I did this, I was way off center because it's a little off from the sides of these. But I think when I did it, I lined it more up with the floor. I was looking at these things as well. And so overall, I think, you know, it looks good. It's pretty well centered. And that gap that was there, it's pretty flush now. It's pretty flush along the sides. Color looks pretty good. It's not, you know, it's not a perfect match, the black that's there, but turned out pretty nice. Looks good. And so, you know, this is I got a lot of questions when I did this in the first place, because it's like, you know, why would you want why would you get rid of the center console and go to the seat? But really, this is nice because I can fit all my kids back here, and I can fit all my kids in the truck because I can use that seat in the front and fit my whole family in here. And now I still have the heated seats in the back. You know, my kids can live without heated seats, but when you've got all the electronics and everything for it, it was kind of a bummer to lose those if I wanted to get that extra seat. So I'm really happy that I was able to keep those. And really now with that heated seat, the only electronics I don't have in here are, the only thing I'm missing out is on the wireless phone charger, and I could plug that in. I mean, the plug is actually right down there, and I could just kind of set it right here, but I haven't. It will be kind of bulky if I put it underneath my mat. But I also talked in the last video about reupholstering the seat. Still haven't done that, mostly just because I've been using my truck and I haven't had the time to take the seat. I'll have to take the whole seat out and bring it to the guy that's going to reupholster it, and I haven't had a time where I felt like I wanted to go without a center seat for a week or so while he's doing that, so I just haven't gotten around to it. But you know, they have different versions of the seat, and this one's got pretty good storage, so I actually have been using it for a couple months now, and or maybe a couple months with the center console seat. I actually kind of like this seat better than the center console, or at least as much. I like the layout of the cup holders and stuff. I definitely miss some things about the center console, but I've used it on multiple trips with my family, and we all fit in here, and it's a little cozy, all 6 of us squeezed in. But and my daughter, that's 9, sits up front, and she likes being able to see the speed limit and see that I'm speeding and constantly telling me that I'm speeding. So that's always a fun part of being able to drive with the kid in the front seat. But yeah, turned out really nice. And if you're looking to do this and want to add the heated seats in the back, I am going to post a link in the comments section below for the actual file. If you've got access to a 3D printer or know someone that does, then you can make that part and keep the heated seats if you're making this type of swap. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Bye.